a bit higher. Sorry guys, yeah. We just come all the way close to the mics. How does this work?
You know better than me.
There you go. Oh. Fuck. This reminds me of Albany. Mine used to just collapse. There you go. That was good.
Thank you.
Alright. Depends where.
All good.
Thanks. Yep.
Hi, my name's Blake Moore. I'm the current incident controller of the Dunsborough bushfire for the City of Busselton. Just going to go through a bit of an incident update before we move into any questions. So firefighters are currently battling an out-of-control bushfire. Approximately 150 firefighters are on scene from local government, DFS, DBCA and surrounding local governments. Crews have worked extremely hard overnight in trying conditions to get containment on the fire. We currently are utilising our aircraft with the large air tankers and additional single-engine air tankers to establish contingencies and additional strategies in place to protect lives and properties within the Eagle Bay community. Currently, we've had a wind change to the southeast that's putting pressure on the northern flank of the fire and potentially putting Eagle Bay at further risk. Currently, we have in place emergency warnings for the Eagle Bay area as well as the Bunker Bay town site. At this point, we're currently coordinating an assisted evacuation for people that are currently located within the isolated communities of Bunker Bay and Eagle Bay, and we'll be working with police and fire vehicles to get them out in a safe and timely manner this afternoon from 4 p.m. Like I said before, so currently we have no reports of any property loss from last night's fire. We are still working on an uncontained and uncontrolled bushfire. Our priorities are to ensure that we get people back to their properties as soon as we can and restore the community back to normality. So just on that, if there are any questions going forward.
At the meetings we discussed the difficulty of the terrain. Can you talk us through that and the fact that sort of firefighters couldn't do much overnight?
Sure. So the fire started in an inaccessible area. So the crews worked very hard to try and establish access in that time last night. We were unable to gain access when we tried to utilise machines to get into that area. The fire developed and from there, and then we worked to establish additional machine control lines and through this morning.
Do we know the cause of the fire just yet?
So the point of ignition is still within the active fire area. So crews are working to make the area safe, and as soon as that area has been made safe, police are and will be doing a full investigation of the incident area.
And police are already involved?
Yeah, police are working very much with the IMT, the incident management team, on establishing a cause of the fire.
There's been some talk on the beach and on social media about people taking their boats down to help people out there. Do you have a message for those people?
Sure. So the emergency warnings are still in place for the Eagle Bay area, and even those people approaching the beaches with boats are approaching those emergency warning areas, and I would encourage people to stay away from those areas, assist us in what we're trying to do and make the area safe and contain the fire to where it currently is, and work with the assisted evacuation that's occurring this afternoon with WA Police.
So it's not assisting, it's just a bit more worry on everyone else?
Absolutely. It puts additional workload on the incident management team, and we're trying to assist the community and make them safe with what we're doing this afternoon and encourage them to use that avenue if possible.
Blake, what are the conditions that could play out? Sorry, what are the scenarios that could play out this afternoon with the conditions that we're looking at?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, we're still working to establish containment on the fire currently. Where the conditions have been trying overnight with varying wind conditions and strengths and directions that have put a lot of pressure on crews on multiple sides of this fire. So crews are currently working with the weather that we've got and making as much progress as they can with resources on the ground.
How many people are still stuck in that active fire zone, whether it be at either of the control centres or the evacuation centres or in B&Bs and stuff?
Sure. So we've had approximately 70 personnel report to the evacuation centre at the Geograph Leisure Centre. Within Bunker Bay community, we have approximately 390 people that are still within that area, and we are expecting similar numbers within the Eagle Bay community as well.
Are there concerns that there might be more given an increase in free and illegal campers in the region?
Look, we worked very hard with the local government and police last night to shut Mealup Regional Park very early and get through and make sure that the regional park was clear. And I can comfortably say that we had a very good result last night, and there was no illegal campers through that area last night, so that was a great result.
What did crews see last night?
Sorry.
Right, you go.
What did crews see last night as far as fire behaviour?
Yeah, sure. Fire behaviour was quite severe last night. We had very well developed fire from very early on, crowning through some of the vegetation. It made it very difficult to get close to that area with machinery and before it came into residential areas early this morning.
How close did things come to some of those properties?
Yeah, look, it was definitely in amongst some of the private property. So we're working, like I said, to make the area safe, to conduct a full assessment on where the fire has been to ensure that we make that area safe before people can return to the area.
You said you haven't lost any. You said you haven't lost any buildings. Do you know if there's been damage?
Look, at this point, I am aware of those reports that have come through, but at this point we haven't confirmed any of those, and we are working to make that area safe before going through and assessing those areas. Obviously, while we're in this phase of the incident, it is quite difficult to determine whether those are houses or some of them are sheds, but once the area has been made safe, we will conduct a full assessment from then.
In one of the incident, one of the updates said the fire station was stationary.
Yeah, the fire is currently stationary, yes. It is still uncontained and uncontrolled, though I must stress that with changing weather conditions, crews are working very, very hard to try and establish mineral earth containment around the fire, working with large air tankers that are sourced from the national contract to support that and build further attainment lines and contingencies.
And how are resources going in terms of fires? We've had a lot of fires recently in the southwest. Do we have any pressure?
Sure. Yeah, so crews have been working very, very hard since the start of December. They are doing an amazing job. Some of the work that was conducted last night was amazing to see. They are getting very tired, but they are putting in an amazing effort and continuing to support the resourcing required for incidents.
Brigades from all over the region?
Yeah, we've got brigades from all over the region, southwest region, as well as Perth Metro as well. So.
Are you able to manage that fatigue? Obviously, it's huge hours of fire crews.
Sure, so we're looking at rotating rosters for volunteers and making sure that we're getting out of them, not getting out of them, but getting them out in a timely way, that we can manage their fatigue and make sure that they're going home to their loved ones safe as well.
Can you talk us through how the layout of the land down there made things more dangerous for residents? That only one major road in and out of those areas?
Yeah, sure. That was a very early consideration from the incident management team to manage that, and it has involved us isolating those communities overnight to make sure that we're keeping them safe. We established community safer places very, very early on and supported them with fire resources to make sure that we were keeping that community safe in those isolated areas.
Obviously, it's quite like steep terrain. So, what does that mean in terms of like the impact of the speed of the fire? If it was to start moving again, how fast did it move, and how fast was it? How fast was it moving last night? And people are at the top of the hill seeing it just tear right up.
Sure. So fire does increase its speed as it goes up slope. The fire behaviour was quite severe last night, as I said before. It did definitely contribute to the rate of spread, and it definitely developed the fire to the point where we did have some challenges last night.
What's your assessment of how people responded to this emergency, residents and also holiday makers who might not be used to that sort of scenario?
Yeah, sure. We worked very, very hard very early on to get emergency warnings out early, encouraged really positive messaging. The community behaved and reacted really, really well to those messagings. It was very, very positive. We constantly worked to get them out as we could before having to close those communities off.
Do we know anything about the cause of the fire?
As said before, so we're still working on getting that area safe before being able to conduct a full investigation of the incident.
What do we know about that location?
So the fire started just north of Curtis Bay within the Meelup Regional Park. Within that area there's quite a lot of granite areas and quite steep slope that definitely contributed to the rate of spread. We are aware of where the fire started and we are working to secure that and make that safe for police to conduct an investigation.
Just going back to the way people responded, we heard in the community meeting some people did get the text message warnings and whatnot. Why was that?
Yeah, sure. So we do work, public information officer here, we do work very, very hard to get those telephone warning systems out. Last night we activated them for the emergency warning area, but it does depend whether you have mobile phone signal and which tower your phone was connected to.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of
it could have been a lot of factors involved in that.
Just lastly, just on that inaccessible terrain, so was it sort of a case of, I guess, firefighters were doing the best they could, but you really needed the air support from first light?
Not at all. So regardless of air support, it was machinery and trucks on the ground are supported by air support. It's not one or the other. So the air support that we've had today to consolidate and assist ground crews has been amazing, but it was very much machinery and vehicles to assist last night.
Can you walk us through the machinery used? Was it like land clearance, bulldozers, that kind of thing?
Sure. So initially we had 2 bulldozers that were assisting in tracking the fire edge, and then over the course of today, we've had 4 bulldozers, 3 front end loaders, and 3 graders to assist in constructing containment lines around the fire perimeter.
Are you aware of any people choosing to stay? You've obviously got the convoy out this afternoon. Do you know of any people who are choosing to stay to protect the properties?
Sure, with those emergency warnings, we were encouraging people to leave as early as they could and get out and get to an evacuation centre that we had set up. However, it is people's choice whether they leave or whether they stay and defend, and I encourage everyone to activate their fire plan and get out as early as they can when those warnings are in place.
Sorry, Blake, just lastly, people who might have been planning to come down and holiday in Eagle Bay or Bunker Bay or anywhere like that, what's the advice for them?
Yeah, at the moment we'd encourage people that are coming to the Eagle Bay or Bunker Bay area to avoid that area. However, there are a lot of other attractions within the City of Busselton and even in the Shire of Augusta Margaret River for people to come down and experience that are separate to that incident area.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
We got a couple cutaways.
We might just ask you to step back in, Blake, and do a few more shots.
Sorry, not talking, just a couple dots.
Yeah.
I just want a beautiful face.
No, that's not it. Yeah. I'm trying. You just siege mine. Yeah.
So Blake, are they comfortable with the resources you have? Or